Hey y'all, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Morgan, and we do all things spooky here, whether that is talking about scary movies, scary stories, folklore like we're doing today. We do it all. So if that sounds cool, I would love to have you. Now, I have other social medias, obviously, and places to send your stories, so please check out the description below for all of that. And we are going to get into a series that I started recently because I grew up in the Appalachian Mountains. I still live here today. We have some funky rules and some weird things that happen in the woods at night, and I think more people should know about it because before TikTok and things like that, no one really talked about what happens here. It was kept very hush, and you know what? I'm ready to sing like a canary. Last week, we touched on the fact that whistling isn't really a thing that you should do in these mountains, and if you hear it, you should not react to it. And today, I want to talk about another phenomenon that's kind of like that, and that is the sudden darkness that is said to happen in Appalachia. Now, this is one that I have never personally experienced, at least that I remember. I've heard of it happening very close by to me. I don't ever want to experience it. I've just been informed by my husband who's sitting beside of me that we have in fact experienced that. Apparently we were driving through a holler, had a weird feeling, and it got very dark. I have no memory of it. I don't know. But
your parents farmed too.
When? Well, I have said the whole time that that was like one of my biggest fears involving the Appalachian stuff, so it makes sense that I immediately forgot it. I guess I've experienced it. But if you have no idea what I'm talking about by the sudden darkness, I am going to paint the scene for you. So I need you to lay back, close your eyes, maybe turn on a light in the corner to greet you when you open your eyes because you're going to need it, but otherwise just lay back and close your eyes. So let's say you're visiting the mountains, and one of the things that you were most excited for here was hiking. The Appalachian area is known for hiking. We have one of the biggest trails here, the Appalachian Trail, that goes from north to south of the East Coast, okay? We're known for it. But you set your alarm, you get up bright and early, it's like 6 a.m., you grab your stuff, you get ready, you are at that trail by 7 o'clock in the morning. So here you go, you set off, your phone battery's charged, you are ready to go, and you get about an hour in before things start feeling a little strange. The birds aren't quite chirping as much as they were before. Where'd all the squirrels go? You saw a raccoon, but where is it now? There's nothing. It's silent, and even the wind has stopped blowing. So while you're looking around, already alarmed by this, you look up at the sky and notice that it is getting incredibly dark, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, I checked the weather app. It wasn't even supposed to rain this week, much less today, so I'm not really sure what's happening, but I'm sure it's a storm. So I am going to turn my butt around and start walking. But it is getting dark, like eclipse dark, and there's not supposed to be an eclipse today. So you get your phone out because you can no longer see without a flashlight, and whenever you go to click on that flashlight, you see that hours have passed. You thought you'd only been in here for an hour. It should be around, what, 8 in the morning? It's now 1 p.m. and you don't know where that time went. You lost time. You don't know what you were doing. You turn, you try to get out of the forest. It's starting to lighten back up, thankfully, the farther you go out, but you lost all of that time. I regret to inform you that that is something that countless people have experienced here, and apparently me included. And usually whenever the dark happens out of nowhere, time will start slipping away from you. It's as if you stepped into somewhere else. And it's said that the things in the woods do that to confuse you and sort of immobilize you to make you weaker. One of the creepiest stories involving this that was sent in to me actually happened in East Tennessee, so like 10 minutes away, where a man said that he had just bought this plot of land and he was having like a housewarming party, and he wanted to do it outside. So he went to the edge of the property and was trying to clear out some trees because it was like the perfect place for a fire pit. And he had in his AirPods. He wasn't paying attention, but he happened to just get a weird feeling, looked up into the tree line, and noticed that one spot in the woods was just dark. He got a weird feeling, took out his AirPod, everything was silent. So he fired up his tractor and went out of that spot and put his fire pit, the word escaped me, somewhere else. So now let's talk about what you do if you are ever unfortunate enough to be in this situation. Well, just note that that is an alarm bell for you to know that you are no longer welcome wherever you are. You are stumbling into something that you should not be in and you need to get out. But you don't need to do it crazily. Don't take off running. Don't make it known that you know something is wrong. Make it look like what you were about to do is something you were already going to do. You're on a hike, you were going to get to this spot and turn around. You were always going to do that. So do that. Keep your heart rate calm, don't do anything dumb, and get out of there. This is supposed to be a manipulation tactic, and honestly, a horrifying one at that. Okay, do you want to tell the story? Do you want to come over here? Because I don't remember it.
Yeah, sure. So the first one, just starting from when it started, we were at her farm in the field where her dad mows hay, and this is where we've done most of our recording at the farm. It's just literally across the street from the barn. And what happened was we were taking pictures. This was just before fall had set. This was a couple years ago, and we went up there to take some pictures just of us, of the land, and it called for clouds this day, but it was, just as cloudy as it would normally be. The sun was out, the sun was shining, and like out of nowhere, as we were taking pictures, it just got like so dark, like eclipse level dark. Like it gets really dark here in the mountains with the clouds, just like more darker than usual when it comes to clouds, but this was like insanely dark. It was like nightfall was going on. It was like the sun was just going down the mountains. That was the first time. And the second time, we were driving through one of the hollers here in Southwest Virginia. Now, these hollers are also naturally darker just because the sun will usually set a little bit before it will anywhere else, just because of the placement of the mountains, stuff like that. But this was around noontime. The sun was just overhead. And we're driving through this holler, and it's just like, it's almost like twilight, but without the blue. It was that dark, with the sun right overhead. Thankfully, obviously we got out of there safe, and I didn't see anything or hear anything, but that doesn't mean there wasn't something out there watching us. It's just crazy how out of nowhere you can just be without vision. And I think actually, in that holler situation, we were there for almost double the time we thought we were.
Don't look at me, I don't remember anything.
No, yeah, and it was like,
I think I got wiped.
we were in there for like 30 to 45 minutes, when we thought it was just like 5 minutes. It's just, your senses can get like completely overpowered, completely overtaken. I think that's the only times we actually had it happen, but I mean, I could have lost a couple of those too.
Do you want to do my sign off since you're already there?
Oh, what do we want to do?
In the video.
Take a flashlight wherever you go, because you never know when you're going to lose your vision. Bye.